I've always been grateful for the opportunities I've received in this great city. And I've always felt the desire to give back to this great country and to my community. And I've done that for the last 11 years as a state senator, serving in the Utah State Legislature.
It is my job on the council to make tough choices. It is my job to deal with the realities, not the things we wish they were. That's the job of the mayor too. We need a mayor who can confront these realities, work with the community, and make sure we address issues realistically.
We're not going to solve the issue of homelessness if we don't collaborate and have a strong relationship with the state.
I can't put all of my eggs in the state basket, though, and that's an ongoing theme that I think you may see in distinction between my opponent and me. We have to deal with this immediately. We cannot wait until January for our next mayor, because if we do, we have a humanitarian crisis and we have already failed. The state needs to get on the ball and needs to figure out an emergency shelter. In the long term, we've got to figure out homeless resources that fit people on the streets' needs.
There is two ways of approaching this. One is the ones that are just in the need for quickly exiting homelessness. Permanent housing through rapid rehousing is an approach, making sure families do not stay even in a resource center. Let's put them in a place or prevent them from losing their apartments, their home. A lot of them is due to utility bills. I mean, there's a lot of issues. Now, for the individuals that are chronic homeless and they are camping in situations like this, we need to have a place, and no one will sleep on the streets in Salt Lake City. That's not who we are as a city or as a state.
Part of my goal as our next mayor right away is to work on creating a tech ecosystem here in Salt Lake City. It's an industry that we should work with, that shares a lot of our values, that has the highest paying, fastest growing jobs in the state. And at the same time, if we're going to be ramping up our ecosystem from an economic perspective, we need to be ramping up affordable housing so that we don't fall out of whack and move people out of our city that we don't want to. I will be bringing in inclusive zoning, inclusionary zoning policy to Salt Lake City Council.
I think we first need to have a mix of housing types of all incomes in every neighborhood. That goes east, west, north, and south, making sure that we have sustainable funding programs for our Housing Trust Fund and our RDA, working and encouraging better collaboration with our developers that are responsible and want to be part of the solution with Salt Lake City. We need to have a nurse in every school. We don't. We have the lowest rate of nurses, RNs, in our schools in the whole state compared to any other part of the country. I think there is an opportunity for the mayor and the city to be very proactive and collaborate with institutions like Intermountain Healthcare that I'm already in conversations with to make sure we get the healthcare and mental health providers that we need in our schools. There's no other way of doing that. We need support. Our teachers are overworked. They already are doing 3 or 4 other jobs besides being teachers. They can't handle this. We need this help in there.
The ratio of students to counselors is pretty deplorable across the board. And I'll tell you that as a 13-year-old, my father passed away, and I was able to access my school counselor who was available because the ratios were better. And I can't tell you where I would be if I'd be here on this stage if I didn't have that kind of opportunity as a student in need at the time. Salt Lake City mayors don't have any control over the school district, their budget, what they spend the money on, but we do have a missed opportunity that no mayors have taken advantage of yet, of expanding the conversation of working together. We're both taxing entities too, so there's real opportunities for us to think about how we partner for project areas, how we spend that increment, and we've never committed to a project together where we decided to spend a future increment on a shared outcome.
I think part of the problem we're facing with our youth, and especially our LGBTQ+ youth, is the fact that they don't feel safe.
Salt Lake City needs to be using the federal framework of our being in serious non-attainment for the Clean Air Act as a tool for us to insist that whatever this business plan is that they're working on fits within this air quality framework. I'm not sure how it can.
The reality is, moving forward, we need to have a mayor that can work with everyone that's participating in this process, including the community that doesn't trust government right now, doesn't trust the leadership in the city, and feels uncomfortable with the whole process. So